Hey Tim, look at this.
Needs work.
Hey Tim, how about this?
Still needs work.
Darn it. How about this?
Nice, high five.
Hey there everybody, how's it going?
My name's Tim.
And my name's Michael.
And you're watching the TMI show.
That's the Tim and Michael Information Show. It's art sharing day.
Woohoo, critique day.
Yeah, and it's kind of a light
Love doing
critique.
these.
Light critique. I kind of feel like some of our other ones were really finished pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe mine is, but it also isn't.
It's
And
pretty simple at the same time.
Yeah, I'll explain when I get to it.
Sure.
But why don't you go first? We were talking about your Ireland trip, and you told me
As
about
always,
some little thing you did. So
Yeah, definitely.
tell me about
we'll
it.
put it up and
okay.
we'll just throw it up there. So
Go ahead.
Shazam!
Nice.
All right, so Ireland was very exciting. Irish culture is a bit different from American culture. There's a lot of Celtic background to
Mhm.
Ireland. So during the trip, I was thinking about sort of Celtic mythology and Celtic art, and then also I was reading about Norse mythology and thinking back to that time I went to the Norway Pavilion at Epcot. I haven't been to actual Norway, but all around the Norway Pavilion at Epcot, they have all these trolls and goblins and things. So I've got all these fairy tale creatures floating through my head while I'm in Ireland. And one night I'm just like, I want to draw a troll or a goblin or something. So I kind of started with the ear, and this was actually all freehand. I didn't go through the normal process of
Picking the shape of a head. And,
Right.
Okay. As an initial sketch, I'm gonna say I dig this guy
Oh,
already,
thanks.
and I definitely see some Harry Potter, Jim Henson stuff happening. So I mean, it definitely lends to what you're into. His eyes are very simple compared to all the kind of wrinkliness that's happening in there, but that's kind of where my eyes go. There's already a really nice focus of we want to look directly at this guy's face, like, and then there it is, and then the rest of it's sort of like his costume and his hands and his claws and that staff. So I'm really interested to see what else you want to do with this guy. It's because for just a sketch, I'm kind of like, oh yay,
Sure.
what a fun little piece. And clearly, did you see this in your head?
I did. Well, it was sort of something I saw in my head. I kind of knew what I wanted to go with, but again, doing this freehand and just kind of letting mistakes come out as they would.
And then you made choices along the way.
Sure.
All right. So, so are you sort of done with the sketch, or are you still in sketching process before you would, or are you at a point where you're ready to move on to do something else with it, or?
It's at the point where I'd like to do something else with it. I mean, it's not perfect, but this is kind of as finished as I want it to be. And yeah, you do have some anatomy problems with that.
Well, not
Left
much,
hand,
but I
maybe,
mean,
yeah.
but is there anything you would change, choice-wise?
No, I don't think so. And I think in terms of the actual design, it is where I want it to be. And I'm glad you brought up that you would like to see where else I'd like to go with this, because every once in a while when I think about it, I come back to, I should do more sketches with that guy. I do different gestures and just do a block, a page of gestures for this character. So with that encouragement, maybe I'll go back and do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else that I have to say other than that. I mean, I like it where it is right now. So
Sure. Well, thanks.
I mean, I am interested to see what the rest of his body looks like.
Now that you mentioned it, I am too.
Yeah. So
Get another page down there.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Definitely. Well, thank you. Well, let's take a look at your piece.
And I will put it up. Bam. There we
Boom.
are. So this is a little illustration I did for my band. And what we're looking at is Undercover Beast, and a short story. The name actually changed shortly after I joined. Mark, the guy there in the blue, or steel, we call him, was talking to Lex, and he said in the midst of a rehearsal, "You are the beauty among the beasts. You are the beauty among the beasts, and you have to rein us all in." And I went home and I did a little sketch. I did a little doodle. And I can show you that doodle in a bit. Just boom, there. And then it went from that, and then I sort of sent that to everybody. And then everyone was all excited. And then Mark says, well, maybe we can change the name of the band. What do we think about, the beauty among beasts? And so it sort of sat there for a while until a week later or so. Then we're like, okay, we really need to think about this. And then, Thor, our drummer, was sort of like, he was like, I don't know, it sounds like we're, supposed to be wearing dark eyeliner makeup with a name like Beauty Among Beasts, and so we all kind of mulled it over. And he was also saying we should have something in our name like that. We do covers. That we should do like covers. Like cover beasts or something like that. And then I jokingly said undercover, and then all of a sudden
Everyone went.
yeah, undercover beast. And so that's where the name came from, and that's where the sort of story, and that's what it sort of explains what's happening here. So from left to right in the back, you've got...
Actually, before you do that,
Oh, yeah?
because you mentioned Mark was in the middle, and ever since then I've been like...
No.
which one's-
Mark is in the blue.
Oh, okay.
No, Mike is in the middle. Who's
That
Thor?
makes more sense.
So dropping the veil a little bit. From left to right, you've got
Yeah.
Rick, who is known as Stud Beast. You've got me, who is known as Thrash. You've got Mike, who is known as Thor. You've got Mark, who is known as Steel. You have Dawn, which is known as the Dawn. And then
We saw him in your in that previous episode.
yes,
Yeah.
and well, everyone, and then Lex, the
Yeah.
Beast Master. So those are the roles that we all play, and I did this piece sort of thinking t-shirt design. I designed the logo kind of early on, and that's Chris, our little bear, who's sort of the reason that the band is together, and that's another story. So I eventually had this in there, and when I did the first drawing, you'll notice that it was just 4. I didn't know Rick yet, and Rick hadn't officially joined yet, and Don wasn't officially in yet. He joined like the week after.
Oh, wow.
So then Mark asked if I could do a full illustration, with everybody. And the eye thing happened very late, the glowing eye thing, and I almost didn't want to do it because it seemed cliche. But then I made it happen, and I actually ended up liking it because before Don didn't have anything happening under that a hat of his, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay. Now there's something nice going on there.
Yeah.
And I also tried, one of my biggest struggles was really making Lex pop.
Yes.
And shading everybody else down, and making her just, pop. If you squint your eyes, you would still see her and that spear not get lost. Because I think the spear is actually like the same tone as every beast's skin in the back.
Probably. Well, I mean, you have it going against right there in the middle. It's going against Mike, I believe, his arm.
Yeah.
And it's much lighter than it is. It pops out.
Yeah, but it is the same
quite a
color.
bit, so-
It did.
Oh, okay,
when
yeah.
I colored everything, they
Yeah.
were all the same color, but I just darkened everything in the back. So I mean, that's our eventually should be a T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Bravo. Yeah, thoughts. There's a lot of great stuff working here. I already talked to you about the sort of the composition. How you've got the broken line of heads, and the eye travels up and down through these kind of humps and hills and valleys that the 5 heads form in the back, which is terrific. Great composition. That's something we see a lot. That's sort of an advanced, I think, type of composition that people don't always think about right away. So the fact that you work that in, that's great. I love the variety of gestures, how you don't just have everybody snarling. But you've got kind of the laugh going on, and you got the weird smiles, and Mike's kind of like he's kind of got this grimace. So I think we've hit on a couple variations of the same theme here. There's a lot of variety here in your characters, which is really great, and it makes it interesting. We want to look around that piece and just see what everyone's doing, see what everyone's like. For critique, gosh, I know I brought the same thing up when we looked at your Thanksgiving villain design. I think your perspective between the girl up front and the guys in the back is, I feel like it's a bit off, because I feel like we're looking at them at eye level. So you get that.
Yeah.
And I'll say it for everyone who's listening. You look at them at eye level. You feel like you're on an eye level with them, but then you're looking up at her as if she's on a different plane. I don't know if I would correct the camera on everybody in the back so you're looking up at them, as I think considering this is representative of the band. For once, you want to be on eye level with these creatures, and you want them to feel more accessible than if them being this dominant theme. So somehow correcting that and making her feel more like she's more.
I didn't even think about that, but that's why we do this, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, because I already can see what I would fix now.
Yeah.
But there's okay, cool.
And I'm not sure how you would fix that. I think it is going to be a bit of a challenge because this is kind of the thing where you would want one set of characters to either be in a serious upshot or the other one in a serious downshot. Like you'd have the girl in a downshot if this was maybe part of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you want everyone to connect, or you want your viewer to connect to everybody since these are all band members. So maybe putting not even a down shot, but putting her at a slight low angle so you see like the top of her shoulders, but you don't really feel like she's being repressed or pushed down. She just happens to be shorter than these guys. That might be a good thing to explore.
Well, I think I'll definitely. The nice thing about even if it gets printed is I'm sure this is not the last beast drawing I'm going to do, but
yeah.
I can definitely bring that in, and I will. I'm definitely going to bring that into the next drawing that I do about keeping those sorts of planes right. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Definitely, that's something I think about all the time. I initially wanted to comment on your gesture, but now I've heard your backstory. I don't think it's as necessary. I think it's fine the way it is. One of my other initial thoughts was, oh gosh, she doesn't feel like I feel like she's in a position where she's about to take these guys on and fight them, and that's not a super aggressive stance, just kind of like, oh, hey, I got a spear, and that's what that looks like. But since she's not really fighting these guys, she's more just keeping them in line. That seems like a very natural pose, or close to a natural pose that you would have in that kind of situation. So
yeah, we're her family of beasts as opposed to her foes. So
she's just tough like that.
She is.
So. By the way, you got the logo up there. Is that sort of the logo that the band works with, or is that something you created for the?
No, that's actually if you look at a bunch of our in here, I'll throw a bunch of them your way.
There you go.
There's been a bunch, yeah, literally, and Candace, who does these posters, who's our media girl, and also many other things. I actually gave her a pretty big file to work with the logo, and I feel good because she's done a bunch of different things with it, and I feel very happy that it's the logo we're working with now, and it's sort of like Metallica actually has, from what I understand, their singer guitarist James, I think he drew up their Metallica logo, and I think he's the one responsible for some of those texts. But then they have an artist named Pushhead, who does a lot of work for them. So I mean, and he gets a lot of T-shirt designs and a lot of publicity stuff. So in that respect, Candace is like our push head who does all of the kind of really cool stuff, and I occasionally get to delve in here. So that's what we have.
Great.
Yeah. Well, I love our critique days, and you too. So it's also good to know that we're still doing things out there. And I actually have like 5 more things I want to show you, but we'll wait for another episode.
Definitely.
And we hope that you guys keep drawing, and you hope helping each other out. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Keep drawing.
Hey guys, snail mail is boring. Send us an email at tmi.art.productions@gmail.com.